Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? Hope you're doing very, very well. Now in the UK at the moment, we're on day 2 of this endless Queen's 70th Jubilee, pageantry, pomp and parties, and it's pissing down. They had good weather yesterday, I'll be honest, but it's absolutely pissing down right now. So, Union Jack umbrellas at the ready. Now, anyway, we're not here to talk about that. And in fact, once again, I've been derailed in the video that I was going to do, but there's a vicious irony there as well. I am doing a video on Rambo. It's a particular point of Rambo, but it's going to be fun anyway, and that'll come later on. But you'll see the irony. Well, pretty much I think the title and description of this video is giving it all away anyway. You know my feelings about guns and these massacres that are taking place in America on an almost hourly basis now. Well, we had the one in Uvalde, Texas, in the school, and we've had one in a hospital as well, which happened sometime yesterday evening, and I got wind of it this morning, and I was like, what, again? This is just insanity. Now, you're going to get copycat criminals, of course you are, that's always going to happen. And there's so many people with a chip on their shoulder, some kind of angst, whether it's emotional, physical, spiritual, whatever it is. All these gun-toting rednecks appearing on social media with their AKs and their car 15s, and they're all dressed up, suited and booted. They've got big beards on them, and they've got a big baseball cap on, some kind of camouflage. Yeah, America, fuck yeah! We're taking back our streets. Whatever you think you're fucking doing, you're not doing at all. But so another one took place. I've already commented on the one in Texas and my feelings on that. Now, I've looked a little bit more into this, not the case itself, and I'm not going to sort of lessen the effect of all of these things, because it's the cumulative effect of all of these massacres and these shootings, which is going to just tear down your country. Your once great country of America is falling apart around your own ears. You can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it. It's happening day by day, hour by hour. And at some point, you're going to have to stand up and get things to change. But we're going to talk about that. So I read into this, the Second Amendment. Right, now, here's the thing, folks. I was brought up with guns. A lot of you know this anyway, and I've discussed it quite openly on the channel. And I love guns. I have nothing against guns at all. It's the idiots that use them I've got a slight issue with. And the politicians that sanction these weapons to fall into the hands of said idiots. That's where the problem lies. Now, I grew up with guns, semi-automatics, pistols, revolvers, 9mm Beretta, Magnum P57, hunting rifles, 303s, M16. I had all these weapons from a young age. I grew up in a family where my father was a member of a firearms club and a very well-respected military historian. And everyone we knew in the firearms club were all respected pillars of the community. So I know the people that the gun-owning fraternity, by and large, certainly in the UK, were very respectable and responsible people. My dad was also into hunting, and he took me hunting. And I changed my ways. I didn't want to hunt. Hunting wasn't for me. Hunting is one purpose alone. It's survival. If you are about to die, you're being charged by a bear or a buffalo or whatever's coming at you. In our country, it's a rabid squirrel perhaps. Yeah, take it down. But if you're hunting to survive, and it's going to be your food source, yeah, that's understandable. Don't hunt for pleasure. Don't hunt unless you're using a camera. You can hunt deer spectacularly well using stealth and camouflage and film them and get, almost like the crosshairs on it. Well, I've got a good picture of it. That's what I got. That's how close I got. That's more rewarding. You haven't taken something's life just to make your ego feel a bit more boosted. But anyway, so that's the environment I grew up in. Then we had the Hungerford Massacre. The Rambo killer, as he was called, Michael Ryan. And after that, gun laws changed quite drastically. Gun clubs, a lot of them went completely. But basically, you handed in your semi-automatics and all that. And then there was guns. Only select guns would be allowed in the... These were all legal firearms, by the way. None of these were illegally held. You can't, there's nothing you can do about those. But we'll come on to all this. So we surrendered all our weapons, and then Dunblane happened. A massacre in a kid's school, a primary school. The teacher was killed and many kids were killed. That was it. That was it. All the people who hung on to their weapons, you can have my gun, you pry it from my cold dead fingers. Motherfucker, all that kind of fraternity gave him in. They were giving him pea shooters, they were giving him toy guns. No, there's no reason to have a gun in a civilian's house, ever, ever, ever. No. That's how the mentality changed in the UK. Now, initially, I didn't want to surrender anything. I felt, something's got to change here, this is wrong. But you knew the sort of Damocles was going to come down on all the gun owners. So, do the right thing, gave him in. And I don't miss it. I then joined the Marines. So, I got to fire weapons properly and legally. In very interesting locations as well. And loved it. Yeah, and I love guns. I collect swords, I collect knives, but I collect them. I don't go out in the streets with them. And I'd love to have a range out the back, in the backwoods of the Kilt-Man mansion. My own gunnery range, yeah, all sorts of firepower. The Heckler & Koch PSG-1, my favourite sniper rifle of all time. To have that, it'd be great. I'd be pinging away at targets, and then I'd be thinking to myself, I would be thinking genuinely to myself, do I really need this? Why have I got this? This is military grade firepower. Why have I got it in my back garden? Who do I expect is going to come over these walls? Where's are the Russians going to invade here? I'll tell you now, the Russians will never invade the UK. They don't fucking need the UK. And if the UK proves a problem to them, they just bomb us out of existence anyway. But anyway, that's another saga for another day. So I'll be thinking, why have I got this? Do I really need this? Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I might love it, but do I need it? No, I don't. Now, so in the UK, gun laws radically changed and people's opinions of guns radically changed. Yes, you can probably still get weapons on the black market, of course, but because the weapons have dried up, there's actually fewer of those available. So since the gun laws changed after Dunblane especially, no more gun massacres, gun crime dropped radically, of course, but we have knife crime. Now, and all those gun owners we're going to come on to all of this, going to cover quite a bit of ground here. All the NRA and all the conservatives, the Republicans who advocate gun use, gun ownership in the States. You take our guns away from us, which they're never going to do, by the way. They'll never take the guns off you. They won't. And that's not even what I'm advocating. But we're getting there. They say, well, a maniac, they'll use whatever. If they're that way inclined, they'll just use a knife. Yeah. Someone with a knife is a lot easier to get away from, unless they're really good at throwing that knife, and then they just disarm themselves, haven't they? They're a lot easier to take down as well. They can still do a lot of damage, but nowhere near as much damage as if they've got magazine after magazine, rapidly reloading, high caliber firepower, and mowing down innocent people who are trapped in rooms, be it classroom, be it a hospital ward. What? Or a shopping mall, or a church. They've got a knife. Yes, they will get somebody. That's always going to happen. But the damage limitation, they'll be taken down a lot quicker, and they'll do far less damage and killings. The body count will be far lower. Guaranteed. Plus, some of these maniacs, if they think they can't get hold of a firearm, they will think twice about what they're going to do. Anyway, we've now established that America believes that it has the right to bear arms, or the right to arm bears, which is, in my situation before, where I'll only kill a bear if it's coming after me. But if it's fucking armed as well, I'm going to have a right battle on my hands, aren't I? So, the Second Amendment, okay, we're going to look at it. I did not know this, but I've looked at it now. Okay, this was something that was published only a couple of days ago, May 31st, 2022. And it's written by someone called Amber Phillips. Right. How the Second Amendment was reinterpreted to protect individual rights. Reinterpreted, that's the thing. To counter calls for stricter gun laws in the wake of the massacre of the elementary school students in Uvalde, Texas, So this is before the most recent massacre. Republican politicians cite the Second Amendment, saying that the government cannot infringe on people's rights to protect themselves and that this is fundamental to preserving liberty. Rarely has the Second Amendment been more necessary to secure the rights of fellow citizens. Senator Ted Cruz, we will talk more about this particular cunt. Yes, I said it. Senator Ted Cruz said at this year's NRA convention held in Houston days after the shooting. But historians say that the notion that the amendment protects people's rights to have guns for self-defense is a relatively recent reading of the Constitution, born out of a conservative push in the 1980s and 90s. The text of the Second Amendment reads, here it is, this is the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I'll read it again. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. The historical consensus is that for most American history, the amendment was understood to concern the use of guns in connection with militia service. The founding fathers were likely focused on keeping state militias from being disarmed, said Joseph Blocher, who specialises in the Second Amendment at Duke University's law school. So you've got people who actually study, this goes on quite a bit, you've got people in America who study particular amendments, particular constitutional rights. So they'll study it, they'll learn it, they'll become professors in it, and they'll go teach it in schools, and they'll also practice it, specifically that cases for that amendment in law and practices, and even in the Supreme Court. An individual's right to use guns in self-defense is not expressly written in the Constitution, says Reva Segal, not Steven Seagal, a law professor at Yale who has written prominent law review articles on the subject. I'll turn the music down. Irony again, I was going to do a video on Rambo, and I'm playing Dirty Harry stuff and also spaghetti westerns that Clint was in, and there he is, Dirty Harry. Because I love this stuff. I love guns. I'm not against guns. Anyway. So, the interpretation that the Second Amendment extends to individuals' rights to own guns only became mainstream in 2008 when the Supreme Court ruled in a landmark gun case, District of Columbia versus Heller, that Americans have a constitutional right to own guns in their homes, knocking down the district's handgun ban. So it overturned a handgun ban there. That was the first Supreme Court decision to strike down a gun control law in constitutional history, Siegel said. At the time, the court's reading was considered broad, even to a number of conservatives. In the ruling, Justice Antonin Scalia wrote that the militia phrase was merely a preface rather than part of its integral reading. So see how they're missed? They're now, what you've been reading, that's not what they meant. How do you know? With the exception of felons, some people deemed to have serious mental illness, sensitive places such as schools or courthouses, or dangerous weapons, the Second Amendment allows regular people to own firearms in their homes, he argued. All guns are dangerous weapons. More liberal and moderate justices like the Justice John Paul Stevens dissented, advocating for the long-standing view that the amendment concerned the use of guns in connection with militia service. It is striking that professed originalists in the Constitution, like Scalia, would set aside such a major phrase in the Constitution about militias in favour of a more modern-day interpretation, Segal wrote in her paper. So how did we get here? She and other historians attribute it to a relatively recent political push by gun rights groups to reinterpret the Constitution, to reinterpret what was written in that Second Amendment. There has been a decades-long and very successful movement to change the public perception of what the Second Amendment is for, Blocher said. Susan Leibel, a political science professor at St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia, said that in the 80s and 90s, conservatives began advocating for the appointment of judges and funding of scholars who would interpret the Second Amendment more broadly. Crucial. So, these people with money and power and a vested interest in gun manufacture and keeping guns on the streets and making them more available, despite whatever crimes and massacres take place, they are now funding and trying to put in place teachers and professors to reinterpret the Second Amendment, and judges who are going to endorse what they've said as well. So you're rewriting history, you're changing history, you're using money and your political power to change and re-advocate the law and the amendment as it was originally written. These are professionals who are saying, this isn't just me. This is how I've just suddenly realised, oh shit, that thing that I thought the Americans had the right to, they don't. They clearly don't, and they never did have. Historians and political scientists don't fully know why the conservative culture around guns hardened. Around the Reagan era, the National Rifle Association shifted from an organisation concerned with gun safety to one protecting gun rights at all costs, Libel said. In her paper, Segal traces the pro-gun movement back to the Supreme Court's Brown versus Board of Education ruling in the 1950s, which desegregated public schools. She writes that amid the civil rights movement and a nationwide increase in crime, pro-gun supporters framed individual access to guns as part of a law and order movement, sometimes in highly racialized terms. In 1975, an NRA leader testified to Congress that law-abiding gun owners were different from criminals. The argument for gun rights divided society into two classes, citizen and criminal, she wrote. Any day now, that's right now. Any day now, the Supreme Court will rule on its first major gun rights case since Heller. Their ruling could expand the definition of the Second Amendment even further by knocking down severe restrictions on carrying guns in public. The Heller decision specifically carved out a right to have guns inside the home protection. In their next case, the court, with its strong conservative majority, will decide whether the Second Amendment includes the right to bear arms in public spaces. Their ruling could knock down a New York law requiring people to show proper cause when applying for a gun license. This is what I want to get onto. And it could affect laws in other states in a way that would dramatically expand gun rights again. We have moved to a more and more radical interpretation of the Second Amendment, Libel said. So, in the wake of these endless massacres, I mean, you could be sitting in America and going like, oh, did you hear about the latest gun massacre? Oh, the one this morning. No, I mean the one that just happened about an hour ago. What? And as you're saying that, you're going to hear guns and screaming going off as the next one takes place. That's how swiftly these are overtaking your once, incredible land of opportunity and freedom. The gun lobbyists, the people in power, the NRA, your political system is fucked from the very start anyway. Because to get into positions of power and office, even the highest, presidency, you don't get there on integrity and ethics. Fuck no. You get there with the biggest, most expensive political campaign, and the people who win those campaigns have more money, injected more money, donated more lobbied money, which is coming from the people in the NRA and the Conservatives and all these people who are involved in keeping guns on the streets, because it keeps them in power, it keeps them in money, it just keeps everything tickety-boo. They're never the ones who get shot. I mean, I've been going on about irony. That would be ironic, would it not? But you've got a feeling that these people are so protected, and they're not like Ted Cruz. No anti-gun person's going to walk up and shoot him because they're like, oh, but I used a bloody gun. Fucking, I've undermined my own case there, my own argument. Not whiskey, it's tea. It's going cold as well. So the only way one of these bastards will get caught up in something like that, or their kids, will be by accident. They happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But imagine the hoo-ha then. Or rather, don't. Because he'd be sacrificed then. The NRA is too powerful for this, and they want to keep things going. And so you've already now learned that the Second Amendment doesn't actually state that you can have guns in your house and that the individual can own guns. As part of the militia to rise up when a tyrannical government is taking control, state militias can then be assumed and built, and they can keep their weapons as part of a... Let's read it again. Where is it now? Oh God, I've lost it. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That's with commas, by the way. That is all one sentence. So it's not like this is where interpretation comes into it, because the people who zero in on it are going like, well, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, as if that was a separate category, another bullet point. Hey, bullet point. That's there. Oh, it says it right there. It's all part of this regulated militia. That's the point. The people, the individuals who are part of this militia can keep and bear arms as they're part of the militia. Misinterpretation or reinterpretation of things such as the Bible, such as the Quran, have led to unbelievable trouble. You know, the Quran and Islam is a peaceful religion. It advocates peace. But because of certain passages in the book, certain people who radicalised just change that in their own thinking and then teach and preach to others. Any religion, by the way, any, will re-advocate stuff and just change wording around. So what they really mean by that is go and behead 20 before breakfast and then 20 more after breakfast. It's bullshit, folks. It's bullshit. And you guys know that. America has to be waking up to this now. What have I just said? We had 2 extremely infamous gun massacres in the UK. We changed our laws drastically and no guns on the streets. Not no guns, but hardly any. And no one carries guns. You don't have guns in the house anymore. Or you shouldn't do. And what's the result? No more gun massacres. Very little gun crime taking place. In America, you just seem to want to liberalise it all the more. We can carry guns. Let's get back on to this fucking cunt, this Ted Cruz, this walking Breville toaster, this fucking goat piss shitbag. What did he say? What did he say about, Uvalde and, massacres in schools? Well, what you need really is just one door. So, not advocating gun control, door control. We're going to eradicate doors. We'll just have one door. One way in, one way out. And at that door, we're going to have a properly armed law enforcement officer who will be the first guy killed, obviously. When you've got a school, you've got a hospital, you've got whatever building it is, an office block, and one door in, one door. Even forgetting the health and safety reasons, how about fire escapes? You fucking wanker. So you're going to go in there and do your massacre, right? Oh, but there's an armed guy on the front door there. Oh, not anymore. In you go. You shuts the door behind you. You locks it. Time to die, folks. Or you lock the door, set fire to the building. Well, save me ammo that way. What a fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot. He also says, and it isn't just him, there's a load more, all these fuckwits say this. Well, if we have more people with guns, then if all the teachers had guns, he said all the teachers should carry firearms and have firearms training. Right, so someone in a class gets out of line. Look, Billy Bob, I've told you for the last time, sit your ass down and do your mathematics. No, I ain't doing that, fuck that shit. Billy Bob, boom! Teacher blows away the kids. But then the kids are probably all going to be armed as well. Now, you think about this. They said the more people that have weapons, then the more chance that these shooters are going to be taken down by Joe Public. Well, gee heck, that's going to work, isn't it? So you're in a shopping mall, supermarket. Gun, scream, bullet. In the next aisle. Shit, I'll get my gun out. I'll get this motherfucker. And then next thing that comes around the corner is some guy with a gun who's also trying to take down the shooter. But you go, oh, it must be him, bang, bang, you've killed him. Then someone sees you with a gun, oh, I'll get mine out, because that must be the shooter. Endless massacre. And we think our politicians are fucking idiots. And they are. Don't go thinking that, hey, listen, you Kilt-Man, you're sitting fucking thousands of miles away in your own little pissant fucking royalistic country. Yeah, I am. And weirdly enough, all these thousands of miles away, I can smell the bullshit from your fucking guys in office who are protecting and advocating this. Who are keeping guns on the streets and putting lives at risk continually because they're taking backhanders, I can smell the bullshit. I can smell the cordite. I can hear the screams, even from here. Now, you people aren't stupid. I have tons and tons of American friends. Tons of them. I weighed them the other day, and there was fucking tons of them. Too many. And I've been around America a few times. Like, not been everywhere in America, but I love America. And I love guns. This is what I keep saying. So what's the answer then? Come on, Kilt-Man, you're so full of fucking, fire and thunder. You think you know what's best. I'm no expert, but I am speaking from a previous gun owner's mindset who's now changed his ways, but still loves guns, but understands that guns have a purpose. A gun, it's just a tool. Yeah, it's a tool. Its job is to kill. It's to kill. It's to kill. See that there? That. To kill people. Kill people. Yeah? And military grade firepower is to kill lots of people very quickly. So why would a civilian need that? Okay, right. You're not going to take the guns off these people. You're not. And quite clearly from this, there's a very good chance that more people are going to get guns. What you should do is anyone trying to get a firearm has to go through a screening process. Oh dear God, how obvious is this? You shouldn't be able to walk in to a Walmart or a fucking gun shop and straight away, I think like Arnie in Terminator, phase, plasma rifle with a 40-watt range. Hey, just what you see, pal. Woozy 9mm, Fuck that. No, if you want a weapon, you've got to go through an intensive psychological screening process. Yeah, that's invasive. You don't want to have to do it. You've got to learn to drive a car. I can't drive, by the way. Fucking good thing. So you've got to learn. You've got to get a license. So for a gun, you should learn how to use it and be screened properly, be profiled. You can't. I suppose you could do it in hindsight. The people who've got licenses, the people who've got guns that the authorities know about, you could always go out and check. But in Hicksville, this was my grandpappy's, and it is his grandpappy's before his, And that flamethrower was mine too, I inherited that from my great auntie, you can't get all those weapons back, and you can't profile all the people that have got them. I know that. But going forward, people that want a firearm, whatever, they want a carry permit, they want it for the home defence, they want it because they've joined a firearms club. Join a firearms club, leave the weapons in the firearms club. Then, but what if someone breaks in there and gets the weapons, and then they go on and we have a smart answer, Kilt-Man. I don't have all the answers. I do not. But I know that what you're doing is fundamentally wrong. And you guys all know it too. Because the people who are making these rules, what have I just said about Ted Cruz? We're going to take all the doors away. Just have one door, one way in, one way out, one way out. He also said about putting man traps in the grounds around schools. What? You're going to turn it into a fucking prison? What do you do? It's a place of education. Take the fucking guns off the streets. Stop the people who are idiots having access to firearms so that you can't go and commit these things. You won't do it because you don't want to do it. Inwardly, your moral compass has shifted big time because the money speaks louder than the screams of the victims and the wailing of the people who are left behind to mourn for them. You don't give a shit about them. You don't give a shit. You have the power to do something about it. You, the president, everybody in office, everybody in the Supreme Court, every mayor, every fucking chief of justice, chief of police, all these people have got powers, but they don't exercise them. And they don't because they're in the pocket of the NRA and the Conservatives that rule over all this and just want to keep the money. Because the arms industry, manufacturing weapons and ammunition, you couldn't possibly dream how big this is. It's colossal. I'm surprised that North America hasn't just sunk like Atlantis under the weight of all the fucking weapons and ammunition that are stored there. Yeah, weapon in a house for home defence. For a long time, I kind of understood that as well. And I do understand that. But again, go for the same profiling system. And if you're caught out in the streets with it and you don't have a carry license for it, then you're arrested. That's how it should be. But putting more guns in more people's hands is only going to cause more and more death and carnage. And the weight of people and public opinion against this is without doubt growing. It's without a doubt growing. I'm not naming anyone's names here, but I've got friends who are sort of, I would term them as, and this is no offence, as redneck hillbillies who love the channel, and you know, they're good old boys, whiskey, beer swilling, a bit like myself, but then they go out and pick up trucks, high-powered fucking hunting rifles, but even they, and they're staunchly, you know, patriotic and all that, like stars and bars tattooed on their soul, but even they have been messaging me when I've done little videos like this, and we've talked, because I've talked about weapons a lot, and knives and swords and everything like that, and they always get in touch, and you know, but they all seem to, there seems to be a change in the wind, and people are now, even people like that, they're realising there's no fucking reason for me to have this fucking ultra high powered weapon in my house. You know, anyone breaks in here, I can kill him with my fucking breath. So the swing shift will happen, but, and these people with the power who are pulling all these strings, they know that. That's why you've got this thing, as she said, like what's happening in the next couple of days. Any day now, the Supreme Court will rule on its first major gun rights case in Teller. Their ruling could expand the definition of the Second Amendment even further by knocking down severe restrictions in carrying guns in public. So this new case will decide whether the Second Amendment includes the right to bear arms in public spaces. Their ruling could knock down a New York law requiring people to show proper cause when applying for a gun license. When applying for a gun license, why do you need this gun? So they're going to knock that down. Just, oh, what, you apply for a license? Yeah, granted. There you are. Here's your first gun. Go on, off you go. Ooh, bye-bye. By the way, on your way out, just shoot that fucking bastard in the head over there. Yeah, the one in the kilt. There are no easy answers. The maniacs that do all this, that go out and cause carnage, yeah. And, you know, you could go on endlessly about their mindset. They're fucked up. Of course they are. They might not be clinically insane, but they've got bigotry and hatred inside them. The guy in Buffalo that went into the shopping mall, and he was racially motivated to take out black people. He killed a couple of white people as well. Oh, and Ted Cruz, the one guy that actually tried to stop him, who was armed, was killed. He was a black retired police officer. He was a security guard in the shopping mall, and he got killed trying to stop. He was armed as well. Didn't do him any good, did it? You know, you could go on with this and on and on and on. The crazies that are out there, if they come, as I said right from the start, they'll use a spoon, to quote Alan Rickman as the Sheriff of Nottingham in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Well, at least I didn't use a spoon, you know, because a spoon's more painful when it disembowels you. But a spoon used properly in the right hands could become a lethal weapon. You know, give it to Steven Seagal. And after he's had his 14th fucking pile of burgers and cereal, I'm Steven Seagal, yeah, I can kick ass. I just can't get up off my fat ass. So bring your ass over here so I can kick it, you know. Another fucking wanker. Love Under Siege though, awesome. So, yeah, they could use another weapon, obviously, a knife, obviously. They can make homemade explosives. Yes, there's not a great deal you can do about that, to be perfectly honest. But you stop them from having access to high-powered, high firing rates, loads of ammunition. I'm trying to think of the fucking phrases there, I can't think of them all. Getting too garbled up in my rhetoric. You take their ability to kill dozens of people in seconds and then reload and kill dozens more. You take that away from them. Your body count is, do the maths, is dropped massively. Yes, it'll still be horrific, it'll still be death and carnage, but far less. When are you guys going to wake up? When you guys, and this is, oh God, Kilt-Man, you've got to incite people to riot again. No, I'm not. You guys out there have got the power to approach and cordially and politely and with respect all these assholes who are making these rules and legislations and are keeping your people and your kids dying on the streets or in their classrooms. you've got the right to approach them and condemn them. Don't go ape shit on them. Don't do that, because you're only going to play into their narrative. Then, oh, but this is what we're up against. This is why we need. Why? I got an egg in my face. If I had a Magnum 44, I could have blown that egg out in the air and then killed the guy that fucking threw it. But I might be well within my rights to do so. It's self-defense. Ted Cruz. He's just one of many, but he's popped up a few times in some of these latest cases, saying the most ridiculous things. But, he should be harassed and harangued wherever he goes by everybody, because he's a guy that has the power to make these laws change, to give more legislation to stop people from access to firearms. I say again, I'm not against guns. I'm not. It's the idiots that pull the trigger. They're the ones you've got to stop. But take the gun out of their hands. Stop them getting the gun in the first place. It's just logic. Oh, no, it doesn't make sense to you because you're getting so much money to keep you in power, making stupid decisions to back up the people who are paying you. You see how this little industry, it's fucking huge. It's fundamental to America as well. So to change it will be huge. You might need militias to rise up. Oh dear, vicious circle, isn't it? Folks, food for thought, certainly, and another horrible tragedy. As I say, I didn't look into the details of this particular one. It only happened, well, as far as I know, only a few hours ago. And I think he killed 4 people and he killed himself. And it's always men doing this, by the way. Men, real men, macho men, men with, I've only got a small dick, but I've got a great big fucking weapon. Look at this, If I can't fuck you, I'll just fuck you up, And it is, these macho dickheads, A real man has respect. A real man will help someone across the street. A real man will pay respect and give patience and tolerance to everybody else, and then put his point across. A real man puts other people's feelings first. He doesn't go into a place like a church or a school and cowardly kill kids or innocent people who are sitting there defenceless in church pews, or people who are in a hospital bed. People getting vegetables off the top rack and all that, you man, oh, you're a man, you big man. And then instead of facing, the consequences, you go, oh, or you run out to get shot by the police. The guy in Buffalo didn't do that though, did he? He got caught. But he's having a wonderful time in jail right now, isn't he? With all the other redneck bastards. Hey man, when you get out of here, I've got a place up in the woods. I got this bunker. We got some real good shit down there. When we get out, we gotta fuck things up good style. Yeah, man. Fucking hell. America. Fuck yeah. It's insane. Anyway, folks, they are my views on this. And I have an interesting viewpoint because I came from that sort of the gun-toting, gun-owning fraternity. And I love guns. I just don't like psychos, and I don't like these fucking bastards who are in power, who are keeping psychos on the streets armed to the teeth and allowing them to go out and cause slaughter and carnage. They're the ones who've got just as much blood on their hands, if not more, because they're creating a legacy. This will go on and on. You're going to get the copycat killers. Listen to the music. You're going to get copycat killers who are going to leap on the bandwagon. Well, now I can carry a gun in the street just openly. Are you going back to the Wild West? Is that what you want? People are just strutting down. Where you going? I'm just going to a saloon. I won't be too long. I'm only going to kill 5 guys who upset me the other night. It's wrong. It's movies. Movies belong on the big screen, not on the streets, not in real life, not in our school classrooms, where innocent children are being slaughtered by a man with a high-powered assault weapon. Are you fucking crazy? Yeah, you fucking are. Not just the one who did it, but all of you that support it and celebrate it. Because you're glorifying in death and carnage. That's what you're doing. Well, I'm gonna keep my fucking gun. I don't say you can't wear a kilt. I don't give a fuck if you say I can't wear a kilt. I don't give a fuck what you say about me. I don't give a fuck at all. I do give a fuck about you allowing people to be killed by your stupid, illogical, and completely, actually, fundamentally illegal ruling system. We've just read the Second Amendment, and it's not what you interpret it as. It's Dirty Harry again. Anyway, folks, look, I'll be back later with a video on Rambo. It is what it is. But I talk about the movies, and then I talk about the real life stuff, and I can see a distinction between the two. You don't walk the streets carrying high-powered weapons, you know. You don't do that. And you don't go and kill innocent people. If you want to go out in a blaze of glory, get your ass to the Ukraine and go and fight alongside the Ukrainian forces, repelling Russian soldiers. Go out there, get yourself... Oh, you can't, can you? Mainly because most of you Americans don't have a fucking passport and couldn't find your way out of your own fucking state. I love America, by the way. And most Americans. But if that's your theory, well, I'm going to go out fighting. What, in a classroom with a bunch of 9-year-old kids? Yeah? Is that the way to go? Well, I'm going to take out those people of colour in our local shopping mall. They've taken it over. I'm going to go out there. They're armed with what? Carrots and tomatoes and maybe a lethal aubergine. Come on then, motherfucker. Oh, shit. Yeah. You want to fight someone who can fight back? Prove that you're a man. Prove that you're a man with your big weapon. Get your ass to an actual war zone and fight there. Then you'd actually gain my respect. You'd be doing something right. Anyway, I have been, always shall be, enamoured with firepower, and yet commonsensical enough to understand the difference between fiction and reality. So please, you guys, get a grip, get things sorted. Kilt-Man the president! Hey folks, I'm going to see you all. Lock and load. Incoming!